Good morning.
Welcome, 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 ladies. And we are Women Talk Fierce. And I am so excited today. We have a guest, and her name is Kristin Oja. And she is, and I cannot wait to get this breakdown. She is the CEO and founder of Stat Wellness, and it is a functional medicine.
Yeah.
Uh, I, I'm going on functional medicine because I'm so intrigued and I'm kind of sticking with that. But, anyways, she's the CEO and founder of Stat Wellness, the nation's first functional medicine and movement-based practice. Under her leadership, the company has grown to serve over 10,000 patients. I'm not even sure how she does that. Anyway, a team of 60 plus across 7 locations and expanding. Kristen is passionate about helping individuals uncover the root cause of their symptoms and so they can achieve optimal health. So, my first question is, let's break down functional medicine.
Absolutely. And thank you for that intro. So, functional medicine, we always describe it as root cause medicine. And so, if you think about how traditional healthcare is done, we're treated to see a symptom and match a diagnosis or treatment. So, okay, you have high blood pressure. Here's the right medication for you, right? I have my bachelor's, my master's, my doctorate. That's kind of how we're taught to think is what is the
Yeah.
right treatment for the symptom? And in functional medicine, we take a very different approach. When you come in, the first thing I ask, well, why? Why do you have high blood pressure? Or why do you have insomnia? Or why do you have depression? Because we always joke depression isn't a Lexapro deficiency, right? There's something else going on.
Right.
And so in functional medicine, we want to understand the root cause of the issue instead of just treat the issue. And we believe that our body works as one instead of being in siloed. The GI tract is in isolation from the heart, which is in isolation from our brain, which is in isolation from our joints. No, our body works as one unit. So that's kind of a brief overview of what functional medicine is.
So my question is, when you
Cool. Very
have
cool.
people come in and you go through these questions, do they actually know?
Do they know their symptoms or do they know
Well, when
what
you
the
say, why the depression and why the anxiety or
Oh,
why, yeah, that's
no,
what
that's what we do. That's what we figure out. So
I'm saying.
that, oh, so Tammy, the why is going on in our heads
Yeah,
as
okay. I'm like,
practitioners.
I don't think
So,
you're gonna know, Chris.
no, so when we sit with our patients, our mind is going, well, why?
Ah,
And so,
okay. So you are listening for those functional cues. And the reason why I'm breaking this down so much is I don't think everybody knows exactly what functional medicine
no.
is. So that's why I'm just trying to
No.
really break it down and really crack it open and find out exactly from the beginning to the end what you actually do that helps them. And like I said, obviously 10,000 plus, that's amazing.
Yes.
When you then, kind of had discovered from there, is it medication? Is it, where do you go from the next step?
So our goal, so we spend an hour with a patient and we go all the way to the beginning and hear about their mom's pregnancy. So we want to know,
Wow.
what was your mom's health like? What was the delivery? Was it a vaginal delivery or a C-section? Were you breastfed or not? We want to know if you felt supported and cared for growing up. We want to know, did you play outside or were you inside? Like we want to know everything about you. And so
Wow.
once we know that, we figure out what labs we want to do and we want to take a deeper dive. We always say, let's test and not guess. So we're going to go much
Hmm.
deeper than a primary care will go. But then to go back to your question, once we start to understand some of those root causes, we're going to go back to what we call the Stat Wellness Pyramid, which is our treatment approach. So the foundation is lifestyle. So we don't want to give you a supplement, but not talk about the importance of nutrition and strength training and exercise and relationships. And, sometimes in my treatment plan is just to give hugs. Like, I know that sounds so
Come
cheesy, but like,
on.
we don't
I
Seriously?
love
touch people,
that.
we don't hold people.
Well, I'll tell
Um,
you, an hour. I mean, aren't doctors now given 15 minutes?
So 15 minutes, and a lot of that is even just like with the nurse going through your current medications
Exactly.
and getting your vitals. So the average
100%.
PCP visit is about 7 to 12 minutes in the United States,
Well,
once a year.
an hour must that make them
I
feel
believe it though.
completely immersed with information and support. Now, when you're getting that beginning from birth all the way through to where they are, that's amazing. And you really pick up from that whole journey exactly what the issue is.
Well, and pieces of it. So like we'll start to learn like, okay, you had a season where you were on 10 antibiotics in a 2-year period. My mind's going to be concerned about your gut health. So I'm going to start to be like, okay, well, maybe our gut microbiome is off. And then maybe you had a period where you were going through a divorce and you had a miscarriage and you weren't sleeping. I'm going to be concerned about your adrenal glands. How did you recover from all that stress? So, we're starting to piece together. And I think what makes this form of medicine so complex is it's not one thing. It's
Yeah.
multiple things. So our health today is a picture of our whole past. So if you're 40 years old, like your health today is a 40-year-old history, right? It's not
Right.
just what you did yesterday.
Right. Absolutely.
And so it's hard, it's complex, it's deep, it's personalized. But like you don't get gaslit. Your symptoms are real, your journey is real, your experience is real. We're going to start to peel back the onion, but it's also I never want listeners to think you're going to come in and we're going to be like, okay, it's this one thing, we're going to fix this. And sometimes it is. Like sometimes our patients come in and they have no idea they have a huge gluten issue. They cut gluten out and all their inflammation's better and they feel like $1 million. Sometimes we get these quick easy wins, but it's not always that easy.
Well, and like I said, I myself, the functional medicine was new for me because I'm very much used to you've got 15 minutes, let's go. And like you said, a lot of that time is spent with a nurse. So digging in a little bit into the functional medicine, is there a reputation? There seemed to be a reputation of expensive, elitist. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit more
So this
about
is one of our goals is to shake this up in the functional medicine space. So at Stat Wellness, we not only want to redefine what healthcare is, but we want to shake up the functional medicine experience. And so we are a cash pay practice, but we've built a model around an affordable membership. And so for $185 a month, you get unlimited health coaching, unlimited dietitian consults, $185 a month.
What?
You get 5 functional medicine visits a year. You get 3 physical therapy appointments. Labs are run through insurance. So labs can vary depending on what your insurance is.
That's cheaper than what I pay now.
I know. Well, and see, this is so
I don't understand.
I know. Well, in a lot of places, it's you go in and it's $1,000 for your first visit. And then, you leave and you're told to take these 10 supplements and do $2,000 worth of testing. And for us, it's like a lot. Not everybody's a zebra. Not everybody needs to spend $2,000 on testing. Like some of us just need to lower our stress and eat a little bit better and give each other hugs and lift a little bit of weight, right? So we try to meet our patients where they're at. But what I love about our model is we have the person that just graduated college be able to pay with their own money as an entry-level job and be a part of our community. And then we have somebody that's an elite executive that could pay more for a $100,000 concierge, but they're like, I see the value in what you offer. And so we have this whole wide gamut. And our goal is to really serve the top like 30 to 40% of the US versus a lot of functional medicine and concierge medicine is like that top 1 to 2% of the US. Yeah.
I didn't.
Wow. That blows my mind.
I'm going to be switching right after we
get exactly.
dang. Well, thank you so much for the breakdown of the functional medicine. I just kind of want to be clear myself and have our audience clear. Now, my next question says, you were an ER nurse watching Americans come in sick with disease. And at what point did you say, I'm done? This is
very quickly. So before I went into the ER, I was a personal trainer. And there was aspects of the ER I loved. I'm an adrenaline junkie. I got 13 miles a shift. I was like running from trauma room to trauma room. I was seeing all sorts of things. So I love that because you guys can probably tell I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie. But I think the piece that I just got every day, I kept going home and feeling sad was like, okay, 80% of what's walking in this door could have been prevented through lifestyle. Yeah. And I just kept going back. I had people come in with a blood pressure of 220 over 108, like about to die of a stroke, wearing sunglasses, laying on a hospital bed. And I'm like, we could have prevented this if we saw him when his blood pressure was slightly high at 140 over 80 and he had the right education. So I stayed in the ER for a year, but quickly knew I wanted to get my master's and I wanted to get my doctorate and I wanted to go through functional medicine training and I wanted to learn more about how to be on the other side of our healthcare system.
I love that.
Well,
I love that.
If you built the National's first functional medicine movement practice, why do you think that wasn't done before? Why do you think that, lifestyle is something that affects all of us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, I can tell you, I know people, the fact that they're going to the doctors and that they have to be rushed through this process have anxiety. They literally write down the
Uh-huh.
list of stuff that they want to talk about because they know they are time. So that in itself gives them anxiety just going to the doctors. Now, take, your
Exactly.
average stress, of motherhood, of children, of work, motherhood, life. I mean, those are just constant stresses anyways. So,
Mhm.
I mean,
Well,
what?
in our first location in Atlanta, no bank would give me any money. So I think like your question's like, why are we the first? Like I couldn't get a loan. I couldn't get VC funding. I couldn't get private equity. I didn't have angel investors. I had nobody that believed in our model. There was no proof of concept. Nobody was taking boutique fitness and putting it into a medical practice. And so our first location, when you walk into the space, you see barbells. You think you're in a gym. And like when we first opened, people would like look around and they thought they were in the wrong spot because they were there for a medical appointment. And I'm like, oh no, you're in the right spot. Like our waiting room's right there in the gym, and back in the back is our consult
Oh, I
rooms.
love that.
And so I think, it was so progressive at the time. Now we're getting competitors coming out in the market. Like we're getting people that are really wanting to do this. But there's not as much proof of concept. So it's hard. You're creating a new space. You're not getting financial backing. I think now there's more of it because the wellness-based
Yeah.
industry is now $1 trillion industry. Like it's growing and evolving. But like, we opened in 2019. And so I think
How
it's,
did you grow so quickly?
yeah. You know what? We talk about this a lot. We never ran the business based on a P&L. We always ran the business based on what's best for the patient. And when you focus on the patient and the experience, they're your marketing. And so we never did
Exactly.
marketing.
The giving, yeah,
I was going to
absolutely.
Yeah,
say referrals had to be your number one way.
it
Had to be.
was.
And how many different locations across, like where are the majority of your
Mhm.
spaces and your businesses?
So we opened in Atlanta. So that is really where we have an Atlanta, Roswell, Cumming, and Peachtree City. So we have 4 in Georgia. And then we started
Okay.
expanding out in the Southeast. So we've gone to South Carolina, North
Oh,
Carolina, and
where?
Tennessee.
Where we are.
Hello. Yeah.
Where are you guys exactly?
I'm in South Carolina. I'm in Myrtle Beach. And
Okay.
And I'm
Nikki.
in the Spartanburg, Greenville area.
So Greenville's where we're going next.
Oh,
Perfect.
it's a great
You'll
area.
have to let me
Love
know.
Greenville.
Yep.
I love that. So now I'm gonna ask you another question. You got sued the day you got your CO on your first location? Tell me. So here you are starting this new concept, you're going into this new business, you have no financial support. And by the way, you're going to
Yeah.
be sued.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wow.
How were you mentally and physically? How did you handle that?
I wasn't going to let it stop me. We ended up settling, so we never had to go to court, which is
That
good.
is a lot.
But so if you guys have ever, any of the listeners have built out a space and went to get your certificate of occupancy, going through permitting, going through the city, getting your certificate of occupancy is the happiest moment of a brick and mortar's new business
Mhm.
that's launching, right? Like you get this
Yep.
letter that you're able to start doing business. So I opened this letter and I felt like I was on a roller coaster because I called my husband. I was so excited. I was like, we can finally start doing business. I have my CO. I'm like dancing. We literally had to sell furniture. We had to sell stuff to be able to open Stat. Like people don't
Yep.
realize this. We sold a house. We lived on my
Wow.
sister's floor. Like we have a campfire story. Like it's not easy. And again, we had no
That's what
funding.
I love though. I
So
mean,
Yeah, we
yeah,
love those stories.
this is what
yeah.
I love.
So I didn't pay myself for 3 years. And then my first salary in year 4 was $36,000. I still am almost to the point of what I made before I opened Stat in 2019. So like there's like this like moment of excitement. I've got the CO. I call my husband. I'm like jumping up and down. We can start opening the business. Again, I haven't been paying myself. I've been working from 3 a.m. to 11 p.m. And then this like person dressed up comes with this letter serving me. Like literally 3 seconds after I call my husband. And I open
Second
this
up.
next letter and it's a cease and desist. Like, if you don't shut down your business, we're taking you to court. And I called my husband right back. I was like, so that high we just had, we have like drastically gone down and we've hit a low. And, it's like, it's an unfortunate thing, but I took a lot through that. And I want to be a different female in this world. I want to be a different leader. I want to be
Mhm.
a different boss. I don't want to live in a space of fear. I want to live in a space of abundancy. And you know what? If that involves me like raising and growing employee that goes out and does something very, similar, like I can always look at this of how could I have done this better? How could I have supported you as an entrepreneur? How could I have kept you? How could I have led
Mhm.
you in a different way? Right. Like I want to take a very internal perspective on this. And so I think as hard as it was in that moment, I recognize that business can and should be done differently. And there's like a lot of pieces about this that are more on the confidential space, but like I don't want to treat women. I don't want to treat women in a space of fear, and I want to live in a space of abundance. And
Absolutely.
Wow. I
And I
love
will
that.
tell you, just to be, I understand because I have
Yep.
about 15 different trademarks, and I think at least 5 of them had to go to battle or was sued over the mark, and I'm talking the biggest companies in the world. So I get it. It's that excitement and that high, and then you're just, oh my God, here we go, another step.
but also, Tammy, it's a compliment. Like that's the other thing that I should have
Yeah.
said too. And I got this, like as hard as it was, I was also like, it's a compliment because if these large companies are suing you, they think that you are worth the time and energy, you know?
Uh-huh.
So like I ended that call after and I called my husband back. I was like, you know what? Someone thinks we're worth the time and the energy. So that's
There's your
another
compliment.
person
Yeah.
will think it.
Absolutely. But I do agree. I think
Yeah.
you said you want to take it on different as a woman, and it was the same for me. One of the companies um, is the largest company in the world, and I remember them talking to my lawyer saying, "Are you kidding me? Is she kidding me? You go ahead and settle." Well, the next day I'm getting a call from the Wall Street Journal to do an article and go on. But I remember feeling. I'm just not going to let this, they're not going to walk over me like they did everybody else. Because what does that say
Mm-mm.
about me? What does that say about me if I just let that happen? So kudos to
Exactly.
you. I mean, I think the fact that you have done what you've done is astounding and amazing. And I
Mm-hmm.
think so many women, I think you're a game changer. I think the fact that
Oh,
Absolutely.
you are there for women to actually support them, women and men, I'm sure. But I think that's a game changer in what you're doing in functional medicine. I think the time wise, the
Mm-hmm.
financial, what you've done to get here and how you've handled it. And you are just a ball of energy and delight
oh.
and smile. So I am, I just think this functional medicine, I am sold on it already. So.
Thank you.
You are the best
Yes.
representative that could be. So now, if a woman comes into your clinic and she's been told that her labs are normal
Mm.
and she's being dismissed and maybe medicated, definitely gaslit, what do you see that and you see what the doctors have missed and didn't catch? How do you handle that? Like,
Mhm.
I mean, here they're getting this from the professional world, they feel, and then they're coming to you and getting something else.
Mhm.
Tell me that journey.
So the good news is we don't usually have to convince our patients because they're choosing to come in. They
They
recognize
want
there's a different
okay.
way of doing it. So
Yes.
we don't have to convince the patient, which is great. They're already bought in. I think what's really interesting is even if I look at the labs their primary care did, you look at reference ranges, and reference ranges are just that, right? They're not
Mm-hmm.
optimal ranges. And so when you think about where do reference ranges come from, we would take 200 people, we would check all of their labs, and we put them on a bell curve. And we'd say this 2% is abnormal and this 2% is abnormal. But is that 96%, is that a healthy population? Is that an optimal population? And so I say all of this because even in the basic labs that you've had done with your primary care, I can probably piece a few things together that are not optimal, even though I'd love to take a deeper dive. So, for example, you could be told your blood sugar is totally fine, but your
Mm-hmm.
A1C could be at 5.6 and 5.7 is pre-diabetic. So, if you were 0.1 above, now you're pre-diabetic and maybe they talk to you about it. But because you're 5.6, you're perfect. Or
Yeah.
your fasting glucose,
Gotcha.
70 to 100, you could come back and your fasting glucose be 99. That's perfect. Well, we'd actually rather you be between 70 and 85. So I think, we can look at those labs from an optimal perspective and get some information. But then the other piece of it that I think is important is we're going to take a deeper dive. Like you cannot only
Mhm.
look at a TSH, which is a thyroid stimulating hormone, and evaluate thyroid function. That's actually only the communication from your brain to your thyroid. And so then of course I asked, well, okay, your brain's communicating with your thyroid fine, but how's your T4 and your T3? How's your actual thyroid hormones? What's the output of the thyroid? So we've now evaluated our thyroid function in a conventional medicine model of only how your brain's talking to your thyroid. And we determine it's functioning well or it's not. It doesn't actually tell me anything about the thyroid function. It tells me about the brain to thyroid communication, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, but that's a different way. It's a different way of viewing it. That's why it's a first for me. That's the first time I've heard this, to be honest.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
sure it is for a lot of people.
Mhm.
So what is the worst wellness industry myth that sold
Mhm.
women that you wish you could burn to the ground? What's the biggest myth?
Man, there's so many of them right now. We actually wanted to change our name because I feel like there's so many things saying they're wellness that are not wellness. I think the biggest myth is that, any of the things in the wellness space, it's a solution to avoid the root cause. So for example, what I
Mhm.
mean by that is, okay, I find this med spa that does wellness and they tell me this peptide is going to fix everything. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
inject yourself with a
Next
peptide,
trend or the next
but
trend?
that's not, yes. So I think it's just, there is no way to avoid the foundations. And so my wellness myth that I would encourage all of you guys is it's not going to be a supplement. We use supplements, but it's not going to be a supplement that's going to fix a bad marriage. It's not going to be a GLP-1 that's going to fix inflammatory foods. It's not going to be a peptide that's going to improve your brain health when you're not sleeping at all. So all my wellness myths are around the fact of like, don't bypass the base, the foundations, and believe it does make a difference. And you don't have to be perfect. It's consistency over perfection. And my favorite saying is little by little, little becomes a lot. Maybe this week you just start walking for 10 minutes after dinner. That makes a big difference. Don't eat anything after dinner and go for a 10-minute walk. You're going
Yeah.
to start to get that fasting glucose down. So, the things that are actual wellness is the things that we do on a daily basis. It's our lifestyle. And so any of the things that you can plug in there, I would put as a myth. Nothing is going to outdo a lifestyle that is not supporting health. Part of the
1,000.
time. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that brings me to you had actually mentioned it. That was going to be my another question. So the Ozempic, the GLPs.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's your feel on? Obviously, we know lifestyle. Yes, but
Yep. So I like them. I really
you
like them. And we do
okay?
prescribe them.
Okay.
So I think there's a few things in this, and it's like a big conversation. But I think number one, like we've lived in a world that's created a lot of inflammation and metabolic dysfunction for a very long time. So we see patients that do come in that are putting in the work. They are eating better. They are exercising. They are strength training. And metabolically or their labs, their cholesterol's not coming down. They're staying insulin resistant. They still have low grade inflammation. They're not feeling better. Well, let's microdose. Let's do a low dose of a GLP-1 to calm the inflammation and to kickstart some of these fat burning hormones and start moving the
Mhm.
needle and then come off it when we can. And we monitor muscle mass and make sure we don't want you losing muscle mass. We want you still eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's this large misconception that GLP-1s only work because they suppress your appetite. They do suppress your appetite for somebody that has a hard time controlling their appetite. But that's not the mechanism of how GLP-1s work. We naturally make GLP-1 after eating. It helps us make insulin. It helps us lower our glucose. It helps reduce inflammation. So these things help in a lot of different ways besides just not eating. And so I think they're heavily abused. I think they're
Yeah.
put on really high doses and nobody's watching what you're eating and how your strength training and how your labs look. And I think that's horrible. But I think when done appropriately, when putting in the lifestyle changes, when still eating food and maintaining muscle, they reduce Alzheimer's, they reduce heart disease. They actually was a study 2 weeks ago that they're halting breast cancer growth. Like there is things with GLP-1s that are very beneficial, but it's not in isolation.
Got it. Now, is that something now when you're on something like that, is that something that you do long term, or I've seen short term and I've seen people gain weight. So
So so we
again,
actually,
lifestyle.
yeah. Yeah. So if you are on them and you keep increasing your dose every 4 weeks and you're not eating at all and you're losing muscle and you're eating 500 calories, I think we can all say together, like, if you stop that, you're going to gain weight back, right?
Yeah.
If you're doing a really low dose and you stay there and you're eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner and you're maintaining muscle mass and you're losing 1 or 2 pounds a week max, you can come off that. You're shifting your metabolic health because you've maintained muscle. You're still eating, you're losing weight at a safe and effective rate. And so our goal is always to get people to come off it. And some of our patients, they go on and off it. Like some of our patients are on it for 3 months and then they're off it for 3 or 6. And then they're on it for 3 months and they're like, Kristin, I just love it when I'm on it. I feel so much less inflamed. I don't have to like think about food all the time. I get a lot of freedom back. Like I really like it. And I'm like, well, let's go on and off it so that you don't become dependent on it and that
Yeah.
you don't have to keep increasing the dose. Because if you stay on the peptide at a microdose level for the rest of your life, you're not going to notice the effect at that dose anymore. And you're going to want to increase it and increase it and increase it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This has been so insightful. I'm
I
telling
know. We could
Man,
talk all day,
you
and I'm
think
just
I honestly, functional medicine was pretty new, before I did this interview with you and did a little bit of on it. So I'm really impressed, and I can't believe the price and the accommodation. I'm just blown away, and I am so impressed about what you have done to
yes.
me. So kudos to you. Thank you so much for coming and being a guest.
Mhm.
I think the whole video, all you've heard us say is, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you
So
guys.
thank you so much. And I can't wait to hear about your office in Greenville. We're all going to come up and see you. And
Question: do you offer services for kids?
We do. We work as we don't
Ooh,
replace their
question.
pediatrician. So they need to keep
Okay.
their pediatrician. But we do a lot of, ADD, ADHD support outside of
Okay.
stimulants. We do a lot of, I have eczema and I want to know why, or I have chronic constipation, please help. So yes, we consult with kids, but we are not replacing their pediatrician, just so that people know
Okay.
they
Good to
they
know.
still need that. Yeah.
Yes, good to know.
Let
Okay.
us know where can we find information about you as far as
Yeah.
your website, any other information
Yeah.
that they can find. Where can they go and find you?
So statwellness.com. So it's STAT wellness.com. And if any of you guys are interested, you can go to book a visit and you can book a free 15-minute with one of our providers. And you can just like learn how we would work with you because we offer so many services. It can get very overwhelming. And just
Yeah.
talking to a human and just like share with us what's going on. Let us talk with you about how we can help and see if we're the right fit for you. Like it needs to work on both sides. And so book that free 15 if interested. And we'd love to hear from you guys.
Amazing. I'm 100%.
That
I'm
is so
signing up. There we go.
amazing.
I'm signing up. Well,
See,
thank you.
Tammy, you could pass through
And,
Greenville.
and Nikki, do you want to go ahead and let them know where they can find Women Talk Fierce?
Yes, you can find us on all podcast platforms and social media. And we do have a new website. It's www.womentalkfierce.com. And you will learn more about our podcast and our networking group that we have. It's amazing. And we have a new portal. So we're very excited about that. But yeah. And on YouTube, find us on YouTube. You can see our pretty
On YouTube video. So Kristin, once again, thank you so much. Kristin Oja
Yes.
from Stat Wellness. And again, what an honor to have you and what a powerhouse you are. So thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you, Tammy
absolutely.
and Nikki, and keep these conversations going. Thank you for the work you're doing.
Absolutely. Thank you
Thank
again.
you. We appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye.